Would you rob these out of the ute?
No, went and bought another set.
Oh.
On this episode, we put all this Gazzard Brothers rear end into that wagon.
So viewers, it does look very familiar to what's in the ute, because it is. It's exactly the same as what's in the ute. Well, no, it is. It's exactly the same. A-body. The only difference is this hanger is different. Still a slider. It's the exact one apart.
I had planned on running shackles in the car, but there seems to be a national shortage of shackles.
Yeah, and there was issues with bushes.
We're going to get bushes machined, but
No, it's the same with the front, you know, bushes, and we ended up just going the same route we did with the ute, which was a full kit. The other problem is it all bolts to this. You know that? Bolts on there.
And I haven't moved my leaves inboard like the ute.
No. The other problem is it's still supposed to take a shackle.
Yeah.
So what the plan is today, somehow put that there somewhere. I'm just going to make a plate that bolts into there somehow, and then plonk some of that like that. Try and pick up these couple extra bolts and put a gusset here somewhere to stiffen it. That is the plan. The front mount stays the same, sort of, except it's just going to be inverted or more lower. And good morning to Zach's shop dog. She's just helping, just like the X-Fed here.
Alright, so the other thing is I've already mocked these up in the car, and you also would have noticed that the bottom of the car's painted now.
Yeah, it was black actually.
So is the bay.
Finally.
It's been a while. I've already mocked them up. They're the original front hangers.
And that's how they would have sat too.
So that cow track traction bar sits about 100 mil below the sill. And if you've been watching for a long time, you already know how many we like to have our cars. And it's not four-wheel drive spec. So
it's also not full-blown mini truck spec either.
So that's how they normally sit.
Yep.
These ones actually sit upside down.
So the difference to the ones we did in the ute was they were a lot higher.
Yeah.
And there was actually a couple of holes in the ute ones.
So they've been revised so it doesn't hang as low.
So that'll sit that way. Literally just gonna flip them over.
It is a quick way to lower a Valiant if you are a Valiant owner. You can do it with the original ones, but you got to blow the holes out. And I don't like blowing the holes out.
Yeah, or you could contact Backyardbuilds and that could be a shelfable item.
We might have a couple sets in stock. Laser cutter went above and beyond. Alright, so we'll get the bush in and then we'll start mocking this up and see.
Yeah, we can just push that bush in.
A little arbor press.
A little arbor press that you bought.
Yeah. It'd be easier than beating it in like we did at your place.
Righto. That's a pretty fancy looking finger squasher.
Yeah. It's a pretty slow finger squasher.
I still reckon it would hurt.
I reckon it wouldn't be pleasant. Just a little 2-ton arbor press, which is exactly what these are designed for.
Yep. So we're going to try and hold this and do this, and here we go.
Tom. It's definitely touching.
Looks like it's in. On to the next step, let's just do a little slider.
Let's give it a love tap.
Not with that hammer. You want to destroy that aluminium bush?
Yeah, no.
You got a copper mallet or something?
Yeah, I do.
Right. Well, 2 tons clearly not enough. 20 ton might have been the go.
We might try and press it back out.
Well, it's in there now. Should probably get a little bit, maybe a little bit of grease in there as well.
Let's try and keep pressing it. Probably better if it was bolted down.
I mean, you can put a clamp on it. And we can see if we can flip the table over. No, I don't think 2 tons enough, eh?
No.
2 ton plus Zach ain't gonna work.
Get a copper mallet.
Copper mallet.
It's going to be different to our normal filming style.
Oh yeah, that's the need to square it up.
Or it's grabbing there and it's grabbing there.
Because it's
tolerance fit.
Interference is what the professionals say.
Industry standard.
You got another bit, Ali. We need to take a bit more.
We do.
As you can see, it's gonna knurl the side of it over, and that is not ideal.
Negative. What do we got?
The only other thing, not a really bad thing about these guys, but no one actually says how to put those in properly.
Pressed would be ideal.
Pressed would be ideal, but
they're pretty tolerance fit, as you can see.
Oh, they're interference. They're in there.
Industry standard.
Anyway, Zach needs to find his bit of aluminium.
So we ended up beating the bush right in.
And just reaming it back out.
Reaming it back out for 5/8 drill bit. So just put this slider together. It's a bit of a mission. You got it there, champ?
Don't want to slide it too far.
Otherwise, can't get the spacer back in.
Can't get the spacer back in, that's right.
There you go. Well, she's all on next door.
Shouldn't really be hitting against the bearing.
No.
Shouldn't really be hitting against anything like that either.
Don't come at us.
This will be passenger side because of that shock mount, yes.
Which means that should go in
That way.
that way. Trap for the young players. Another trap for young players is
You got to put your hardware through your mount first because it gets all sorts of tricky.
just all sorts of tight. Do you reckon weld them off?
I think we did in the ute, yeah. Might as well put a little tack on them so they hold on. Because you can get, what you can do, guys, you can get an Allen key tool. So we're using an Allen key style. You could use a hex head, but the head is a little bit too big. You can still get an Allen key tool, but it's just a pain in the ass from memory, especially with the cow track in there now.
It's more trouble than it's worth.
Zach will put these nuts on and we'll show you in a second what we mean
And how tight it is.
and how pain in the ass it is. So you'll then slip the bolt back through. You might not be able to get an Allen key down.
No. Where are we? There we go.
Definitely get to the bottom ones. Get rid of that. Top ones,
People are going to love that camera angle.
not so much.
But as you can see the difference, like instead of being up here, it's now like instead of being up there, it's now down here. Which is the difference between that cow track killing cats.
No, it's like that.
But yeah, center to center.
Yeah.
It's the difference between killing cats and now not killing cats.
Don't worry about the cats. Zach might just weld all those bolts on with his little TIG. And then we can mock it up in the car. Can't we?
Yeah, I have to find my helmet.
Earth clamp fell off, mate.
Yeah, got it. Thanks.
You're welcome. got bolts out there? Hey? Just nuts, eh?
Already got them.
Oh, you already got them? Oh, well, I'll stop getting them. Bolts and holes, folks. Bolts and holes. Lift it back up more. Yeah. That's done up. And this is where it gets the backyard builds shit. That underweight needs to be about there. Just up here somewhere. Something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. Righto. Let's go make some CAD.
So I've taken a bit of a different method this time. Oh, it looks like it's going a bit easier, mate.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is this one looser?
Who knows when it gets in there.
Like how to form the hole is.
See if we have to run the drill back through it. A little bit of lubrication in the situation never hurt.
Hey, Saxon. What's the dial in here, mate?
All of it. I don't know, it's something else no one else could really tell us, so we're just going to pull it in until it's sort of just nipped, and that will do.
Yeah, it's something we've never really played with it before, is it? We've only ever installed it, we've never actually driven it.
No.
Or raced it.
Or installed it.
Whose car's going to be first?
We both know mine is.
Do we?
Yeah, I've got piston rings.
So do I.
Not yet.
Apparently, the next couple of days.
Yeah, well, my motor's actually together.
Mine's machined.
Yeah, it's machined. Mine's together. No boring cutting montages today.
What's that?
No boring cutting montages today.
Not with the old slice and dice and the eagle eye.
No. Get him, D-Bird. Good. We're just marking holes there. Bolt it to. So going to be our first points. Start with those two. Yep. Pretty center of the rail. Just in case they're not the same. Pretty good from where I'm looking. Alright, let's go drill those out to like a ½ inch.
So these plates bolt into where the original shackles bolt into. So they're the same left to right. So what we did was we tacked 2 plates together, so you just drill them both at once. Just saves like marking out twice. If you're doing left and right, it's pretty simple that way, isn't it?
Yep. Just cheat it. So now we're just going to snap them apart with a cold chisel and put them back together.
Should be able to get it. Twang.
Just having the scabs off now and we'll go and fit them up.
You there, Jim?
Yeah, we just need a bit more tweaking. It's a bit stiff.
It's a bit stiff, it's got a bit of weight on it. So it is recommended that you do set up the rear sliders with body weight on it.
Body weight. That's what we've got. We've actually let the
rotisserie
down. That's why it's on stands here. Pushes the weight through the suspension. Ideally you'd want it directly under, but it was a bit sketchy looking for us. So we just did it where it looks safe. Zach has that slider tacked in. Got a funky little mount, which you can probably not see, but Zach will get some video of that later when he pulls it out to weld the plate on.
Yep.
And then we just need to measure up for the other side, make sure it's in the same position.
Do some diagonal checks and
we should be right.
she should be good to go.
Alrighty.
Brackets are welded up. So this is what we ended up with. So for those of you who know Valiants, that's where the rear like shackle will hang. So I've picked up that original hole and also the 2 tow bar holes that we had. We've welded the tapped Gazzard Brothers plate on. So just a quick MIG weld across the tops. That's how Gazzard Brothers actually do their HKTG ones. So we just copied that. But yeah. So quick lick of paint, radius corners. As always told as an apprentice, anyone can cut a square plate. Always looks nicer with a radius. So pretty happy with how they turned out. So I'll go and bolt that in. And then the next job is to that 9 inches out of the jig. So we'll go and fit it up into the car. So I've taken the diff saddles off because I've got a small clearance issue. Just got to trim up here. So it's nothing to do with the Gazzard Brothers actual product, it's more to do with my requirements, which is 10 pound of shit in a 5 pound bag. I've got a clearance issue on my backing plate, so I'm going to trim 7mm off each one, just to let that backing plate come in. Because I've shortened the diff so much, but the leaves are in the stock position, they're still wide, that's why it's hitting the back plate. So it's nothing to do with the Gazzard Brothers stuff, but I will need to trim them for my application. So I'll do that now. So the 9 inches positioned up in there. So you might be able to see, there you go. So that's where we just trimmed. So there's a little bit of clearance there now between the handbrake cable hole and the Gazzard Brothers plate, which is cool. Got plenty of diff clearance. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to put jack stands back under here. I'll bring it down on weight, and then we've all set our pinion angle. So we took a rough measurement before the motor and box come out, and it was 3 degrees down. So I really want, on sprung weight, I want 3 degrees up on that pinion. We'll tack it there, and then that's pretty well installed for the time being. So until we put motor and box back in, triple check it, get all our weight on suspension, glass back in, interior and stuff, we'll just leave these tacked. They can be welded and the diff can be painted at a later stage. But yeah, I'm really happy with how that looks. Those rear plates Tom gave me a hand with look good. Gotta weld that one up, but yeah. Gonna put our Ultra 9 measure jig in there so we can get pinion center in the center of the car, and then set pinion angle, tack it off, and then that will be done. And then if I have time today, I'm hoping to mask up and wrap the line underneath. I wanted to get all this squared away to make sure that nothing else had to be cut. Like if I had to relocate these into the rails, which I didn't really want to, same as a ute, or inboard them, I wanted to do that before I wrapped the line. But now I'm happy, I can go ahead and I can wrap the line it. So we're on the way to the car at the minute. I'm just cutting this steel rule here on the center line, just so I can go from rail to center. And because we're on the weight, I did put a tire on there just to have a look. Pretty happy with how the ride height looks. Good clearance around everything. So good to tack it off. But because we're on weight now, we can set that pinion angle as well. So actually take a measurement off the sill and then put that measurement on the diff, 3 degrees different, and tack it off. Alrighty. Can't say alright. Every time. If you know, you know. Engine Masters Australia. Alright. So there it is. One 9-inch Gazzard Brothers sliders, monoleafs and cow tracks installed. So pinions pretty center. I've only tacked it off. So what I'd like to do is actually get the motor back in, interior back in, and we'll probably take it out to the farm, out to Saxon's. He doesn't know yet. And we will have a chat to him about setting it up on the hoist. So with all the weight in it, motor and box in, make sure that pinion's 100%, and go from there. So that will probably be enough for this week's episode. I am going to now try and wrap the liner underneath. So I'll pull this back out, put it in the shed, roll the car up, Scotch Brite it, mask off, and spray some Raptor. Alright, thank you for watching. This week's code word will be suspension. Thanks for watching. See you next week. So it's come to my attention that we have been done in by Australia Post. If you have won a sticker pack in the recent videos, go back, double check. If you have, please email us and we'll send you out on the sticker pack. There seem to be some have gone missing, and I don't know if everyone's got theirs or not, so hit us up and we'll send them out again. Thanks for watching.